Hello everyone, I welcome you all once again, and today we will be doing poem number 3 from your honeysuckle book, The Quarrel, written by Eleanor Forgeon. Okay, before I begin with the summary, let me introduce you the poet of this particular poem. Eleanor Forgeon was born on 13 February 1881 and she died on 5th June 1965. Her notable works were Moonshine, Gypsy and the Ginger, The Morning Has Broken, and Little Book Room, and many more. Okay, she was she was an English author, and she wrote many plays, English stories, children's stories, history, biography, and satire. Okay. In this poem, Eleanor Forgeon has described a quarrel between two siblings. At first, neither of the siblings were ready to accept the difference in the opinion or the difference in the point of view of each other. But later on, as time moved on, they realized the importance, the worth, and the love for each other. So that we can realize that how the poet has described a quarrel between the two siblings, how the quarrel started, and later on the realization after the quarrel, and then at last the outcome of the quarrel, that was the bond of the sibling. Okay, so let's move with the our poem Quarrel. Before, have a thought at the title of the poem, that is Quarrel. Okay, though often the word used as synonym for this word quarrel is fight, I can say that there's a big difference between the word quarrel and fight. That is, quarrel is more a verbal disagreement between the person concerned, between the people who are into that particular argument. Okay, whereas fight is more a physical dispute that is occurring due to the misunderstanding, or due to either of the one person losing the temper or losing the senses, and thereby creating a problem and thereby hurting the other person. So we can say that fight is more a physical dispute, whereas quarrel is more a verbal disagreement with someone or the person who are engaged in that particular disagreement. Okay, now let's move with the poem. I quarreled with my brother, I don't know what about. One thing led to another and somehow we fell out. Now here I refers to the poet herself, Eleanor Forgeon. She is describing a quarrel that she had with a brother. Okay, and then what she is saying, she actually doesn't know the reason for the quarrel. Something, one after the other, that is, one thing led to another. That means a series of things just went on happening, and then they just started quarreling. Without knowing the reason, without knowing the intention behind the reason, or they were just reluctant to ask each other, both the poet as well as her brother were reluctant to understand or to give a second thought to the opinions of the other person. They were not ready to accept the difference in the opinion, and that was the reason. For a simple reason, without knowing any reason, they just started quarreling with each other. Okay, the start of it was light, the end of it was strong. He said he was right, I knew he was wrong. So now what she is saying, at first she told us that she had a quarrel with her brother and she even doesn't know the reason for that particular quarrel. But then she is telling us that the start of the quarrel was very simple, that not too strong. But then as time moved on, the argument between them started growing intense. It started growing more and more stronger. The verbal disagreement started growing more and more stronger. He said he was right. And during that particular argument, poet's brother was saying that he was correct. Whatever point he was pinpointing at that particular time, he was saying he was correct. But then our poet was not ready to accept his point of view. So she said that she knew that her brother, whatever her brother was saying was wrong. She was not ready to accept his point of view, so that she is saying that her brother is wrong and she is right. Okay. So in the first answer, we can understand that how during an argument, one person we start losing our senses. We stop thinking about the corrections, about the intentions of the other person, and then we end up with having a quarrel. We end up with having a disagreement. Okay. Now, the second stanza. We hated one another. The afternoon turned black. Then suddenly, my brother thumped me on the back. Now, for this, a silly particular reason, without even knowing the reason, they just started hating each other. And then what happened? The second line, the afternoon turned black. This could have two reasons. This particular sentence could have two reasons, two meanings. That is what the poet is trying to describe us. That is, either the first, it could be that this fight, this quarrel went on till late night, or might be that something unpleasant happened on that particular afternoon. And what was that? She is describing us. Then suddenly her brother thumped her on the back. Thumped means what? It can be either patted her on the back or hit her on the back. That was unpleasant thing that happened during that particular afternoon. But then later on, as the poem moves on, we can understand that her brother thumped her on the back with a good intention, with the intention to patch up. That is, we can say that, and said, oh, come along. We can't go on all night. I was in the wrong, and so he was in the right. Now her brother thumped her on the back and said that, oh dear, now let's leave this quarrel. We can't keep on quarreling with each other throughout the night. Let's patch up. That was her brother's intention for patting her on the back. He wanted to have a patch up. He wanted to patch up the quarrel. He didn't want to take it to an extent through fighting, quarreling throughout the night, and said, and then he even admitted that he was wrong. The point of this, during that particular time, whatever he was pinpointing, whatever he was describing, he admitted that he was wrong. And then he also said, then the moment the poet's brother admitted that he was wrong, our poet realized that it was not her brother who was wrong, but it was indeed she who was wrong. So then here we can understand the bond of sibling. At last the poet cherishes the bond of sibling, the importance, the worth of each other, how they realize the importance of each other. Though they fight with each other, it's merely not possible for the siblings to stay away from, to stay apart from each other. They need to patch up the quarrel, whatever be it is. Okay? So nowadays also we can see that in our surroundings, we can find people quarreling for silly issues. A simple incident that can be avoided just by giving a smile, it's not done. But then people start quarreling, people start arguing with each other, which is really unhealthy, which is really unwanted in a healthy society. So to maintain a healthy society, what the thing that we need to do is that we should just, whenever we confront such a situation, we need to just ignore the situation, or else we need to think calmly, think peacefully, and then understand the other person's point of view, what he or she is trying to describe us, what he or she is trying to pinpoint us at that particular time, and then move on with a smile. Just give a smile, ignore the situation, and then move on. This way we can make a healthy and a better society. You yourself can realize that this way many of the things, many of the problems that are going to get worse can be avoided. Okay? Hope you understood with the summary of this poem. Take care. Thank you.